Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about the transit Venus in Taurus. Well, the first thing I'll look at when you have the transit Venus in Taurus, of course, it's making the transition from Venus in Aries, where people in love and romance may been a little bit outspoken, would be more extemporaneous, and really it could be somewhat brusque and really and very direct about things. Now, and very impatient as well in matters of the heart. Now, when your Venus is transiting Taurus, people in love might be a little bit more passive than when it was transiting Aries. There might be more stolidness collectively, not as much emotion. You're going to have really in love. I mean, Venus is at its dignity in Taurus, so it can be people might be a lot more sensual, more demonstrative in their relationships, and really it's really about putting more value on loyalty. Taurus characteristics: loyalty, being steadfast, persistent, stick-to-itiveness, and it's really about things that are enduring and that have really a sustained value. And the thing about Venus transiting Taurus too is that there can be more enjoyment as far as things of a monetary nature goes. Taurus is the sign, of course, that corresponds with money, and it corresponds with the second house. So Venus being at its home in Taurus, well, this could also be a time where we collectively really enjoy creature comforts more. Things that a lot of times we can take for granted. It can be things that are connected with subsistence and just things that we, just basic needs that make us feel good, and make us feel comfortable, whether it's warm or hot water, a nice bed to lay down in, having the air conditioner on. And when it's interesting because when Venus transits Taurus, the weather often is going to be warmer in a lot of places in the world. And Venus will transit Taurus in 2017 from June 6, 2017 to July 5th, 2017. And during that time, of course, a lot of places will be warm, will have relatively warm weather. And this could be a time where we appreciate the things like having that home and having that air conditioner and getting out of the sweltering heat. And really, too, this could be a time, too, where we desire more stability and consistency in relationships. We're not about relationships that kind of come and go. We want them to be more enduring. If this is a period where you have maybe you've had an on and off relationship with someone, or you feel that your relationship is not at the strongest point you want it to be, and you're maybe just friends with the person now, but you've been contemplating as far as contemplating being a stronger relationship, this might be the time and period where you may say, well, I want something a little bit stronger. I want something that's going to be sustained and more of a significant, like a relationship where it progresses into having a significant other, as opposed to a platonic friend relationship, for example. And this could be a time too where we might enjoy things that are connected with money more. It could even be something like a board game that is associated strongly with money, like Monopoly, for example. I thought it was interesting. I read it was somewhere, I don't know if it was a book one time, that said that Taurus people, the favorite, his or her favorite game might be Monopoly, and that was mine for some time. And as many of you may know, I have Taurus rising. But the point is, we might cherish those kind of games and amusement that is tied into money, and things connected with value as well. Could be a game like Monopoly, or The Price is Right. Cash flow is another example. Maybe even it just really, those are some things to look at as far as this transit goes. And a lot of this is about indulging in creature comforts during this time. I find what's interesting too during this transit is that when you have Venus transiting Taurus, it's often that time where you see a lot of people doing cultivating, gardening, landscapers, and people even mowing, even people that are just mowing their lawns and actually maybe taking pride in some enjoyment. I mean, Venus could be about its love. I think it could also be about like what we love to do, our enjoyments, the things we take pleasure in doing. And even something like mowing the lawn, it's connected with the earth, gardening, cultivating, doing things with our going out on a flower bed, or I should say flowers in the yard, or in doing things that connected with the earth. Those are some things that I think this transit can strongly be about. And really it could be strongly also seeking stability in relationships. And this is also a period too where we're a little bit more patient with perhaps our lover, if you have one, a significant other or romantic partner. And also too, this could be a period if you're in I mean, Venus, of course, is at its dignity when it's in Taurus, and it could be auspicious for things of a monetary nature. Say if you're doing something like that, low risk investment, say, or something in the stock market that is low risk, this could be that ideal period to do something connected with that. And people might be a little bit more acquisitive during this time. And it's also important to remember Taurus is a fixed sign, so it can be somewhat domineering. Even though Taurus does come across as easygoing, it can be about a little bit controlling and about wanting to possess others. And Taurus is about possessions, but I think Taurus can also be a little bit possessive as well. And that's anyway, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transit Venus and Taurus. And stay tuned next time where I'll be talking about the transit of Venus in Gemini. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.